I'm Grady.
And I'm Zach.
And I'm Sharice.
And welcome to Highlights, a show where we recap something like it's sports, even though it's not. This season, we are covering the 4th season of Dragula in all of its spooky glory. I can't wait. Are you guys excited?
I'm so stoked.
All right, let's dive in. Previously on Dragula. So it's hard to believe, but it's actually been about 2 years since Dragula's been on the air anywhere. We last left them with the season 3 finale where Landon Cider made history by not only being the first drag king to win a public mainstream drag competition, but is also currently the reigning supermonster of Dragula still. By the time a new one is crowned, Landon will have reigned for over 2 years, the longest anybody's reigned. The second being a close second with Bitch Pudding, who reigned just a few months shy of 2 years because there was a delay in production for season 3 as well. Then, even though the pandemic prevented Dragula from having a season 4 when Shudder picked it up, they did allow them to film a special called Dragula Resurrection, which allowed all stars from past seasons to compete from their homes in a mini competition. They competed for $20,000 and a chance to return for Dragula season 4. Saint won that competition and won the $20,000, which should be noted is only $5,000 less than what Landon won for winning season 3, and is actually $10,000 more than both Vander Van Odd and Bitch Pudding got for winning their seasons, and got a full year to enjoy it. So Saint, in a way, kind of won. It's kind of weird. Not officially in the winner's circle, but definitely got to feel the vibe, which is kind of good for Saint. Also should be noting that Dolly in an end credit scene for Resurrection also revealed to be alive still, quote unquote, and survived the final extermination and resurrection, and is rumored to be part of season 4 in some capacity. Okay, so the premiere episode was Horror Icons Reimagined, and it gave us a full new cast of competitors. So before we go into the challenge, I figured we would take some time and go over all of the competitors very briefly and get familiar with them. First up, we have Astrid Aurelia. She identifies as genderqueer, from Phoenix, Arizona, is part of the Dollhouse and is the drag daughter of Dolly, in fact, and is the winner of the Boulet Brothers 2018 World Pageant and competed in Drag Queen of the Year competition put on by Drag Race All-Stars winner Alaska, which is a very popular drag competition she hosts now every year.
Yeah, based on her entrance, I liked her. I thought she was really interesting.
Yeah, she came off really cool. Mm-hmm.
For sure, her makeup is amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those competitors like walked in and I knew was instantly going to be around for a while, probably. Next up, we have Bitter Betty. She is a female trans competitor, originally from Cookeville, Tennessee, and now living in Los Angeles. Has done drag for 20 years, which I thought was interesting. It's a super long time. And runs her own wig business named 1-800-WIG Takeout. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they have like a drive-through or what that means. Bitter Betty, I kept commenting on Bitter Betty because I think she's the one that looks like Rose McGowan to me.
That's right, yeah.
Out of drag, where I was like, whoa. Other than that, not much is really known about her, and I don't really have a lot of like impressions of her.
Yeah, I didn't really have an opinion, a solid opinion about her until the floor show. Like, I was kind of just on the fence about her, and then I was able to form more of an opinion once I saw her as a performer, and then saw her like pulled together look based on a challenge. But my first impression of her was kind of like, I don't really know what to feel about your artistry just yet.
I liked her entrance look. I felt like she was good in the floor show, but she seems very Landon Cider in her confessionals.
What does that mean?
Professional, a little guarded. You can tell that she's mature and that she takes a breath and she thinks about what she's going to say, not like I do, and tries to frame it in a very kind, professional way.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna agree with that because that is something I noticed about Landon during his season was um, the confessionals. I felt like were probed a bit, like almost like he was being forced to kind of comment on other queens' performance and things like that.
Yeah,
I agree.
it will be interesting to see if she maintains that level of composure through the competition, because when they were judging the floor show and they were receiving their critiques, the looks on her face did not read that level of composure. So yes. I'm anticipating that composure is going to unravel as the competition progresses and she loses her cool.
Me too, and I'm here for the train wreck.
Coco Kane. Coco Kane identifies non-specified. That means that they haven't necessarily disclosed what gender that they have identified as, but they identify with the they, them pronouns. From Tulsa, Oklahoma, Coco Kane's name comes from a combination of a character called Cocoam from Disney's Pocahontas and cocaine.
I really liked her confessionals though. I appreciate like her gesticulation. I appreciate their gesticulation and I appreciate their facial expressions and all kinds of things. Like I'm really looking forward to their confessionals from now until forever.
Yeah, I will say there's definitely a personality there. I just hope it comes out more in what they actually put out in the challenges. Hoso Teratoma. Hoso Teratoma is a competitor from South Korea, identifies as non-binary, and her name comes from teratoma, a type of tumor, and is representative of her chemotherapy experience, which I actually think is kind of cool. And she is the second international queen to appear on Dragula, the first being Yovska, who is from Canada, but is the first outside of North America, which potentially opens the door from other competitors. But I love Hoso Teratoma so far.
Yeah, I was so impressed. The look she came out in, and then her floor show look, definitely one I'm going to watch all season and really hope makes it all the way through.
Oh, she's my choice to win. For sure, hands down, my favorite of the season is Hoso Teratoma. For sure.
She kind of strikes me as like the kimchi from hell.
Yes.
You know? And I really love it. I'm like fully on board for it. Formaldehyde. Also non-specified gender so far. We don't really know what they identify as, but uses he, him pronouns. From Phoenix, Arizona as well. Has only been doing drag for a year and a half and has no drag family, which typically means that they kind of taught themselves along the way. Is also the masked queen of the season, which has now become a Dragula tradition. There's always one masked competitor, and they typically don't last very long.
Okay, so quite honestly, I really liked Formaldehyde. Like, I liked their look when they came in. I commented when we were watching it, like how catty everyone was, like from the get-go, just with everybody in general, but like they really harped on Formaldehyde about their mask, and it's just like you said, there's a mask queen on every season, so it's like why are you so surprised that there's a mask queen on your season? But I actually really dig their look, and I dig what they do. It may not be enough to get them all the way through, but I respect them for that being their thing. And I also really liked that they said, well, this is my thing and I'm gonna see if it works, and I don't really care what you guys think.
I really like their entrance look. I really like their promo look. I was really looking forward to like the whole season. I love a masked queen. I'm here for it. I was here for Yovska. Like the mask part didn't bother me. What bothered me was when she said that she could put looks together from the waist up. That kind of scared me for her a little bit. And then when I was watching it for the second time, I realized how heavily those Club Kid shoes were featured. And I'm going to say that Formaldehyde definitely didn't do enough Boulay Brothers Dragula homework before she attended.
Jade Jolie has not specified their gender so far, but uses he, him pronouns. From Louisville, Kentucky. Jade Jolie's name is a combination of the Mortal Kombat character Jade and actress Angelina Jolie. Jade, of course, competed on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 5, where she placed in 8th place. Jade is also a famous Taylor Swift impersonator and has performed with Taylor Swift a couple times now and has appeared as Taylor Swift in Taylor Swift's own music video before.
Just to get right into it, her entrance look reminded me almost exactly of Louisiana Purchase.
Yes.
Not that that's a bad thing. I love me some 1940s, 1950s pinup girl, like here for it all the time. What surprised me a lot was that her confessionals in that other reality show were all kittens and sunshine at first. And then Wobo's Cloth came out. So I feel like she's trying very hard to be professional, if that's what we're going to call it, and keep her claws in, which is why she just doesn't say anything at all.
I'm not expecting that to last because we also know from the trailer that they released that Jade at some point jumps into the drama because she was featured in a moment in the trailer where she's up in their workroom giving it to him somehow. So I'm excited
like she
for
was
that.
In the other reality show.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it's exactly why she was cast. I am a little concerned because she came in speaking about how she just loves Dragula for the creativity and because everyone's so kind. And all of this stuff.
Watching.
Yeah, exactly. It was like
all drag is valid. I'm here for it. All drag is valid.
Yeah, it's like there's another place that can potentially get $100,000. That's great. It's totally valid. I didn't get a vibe that like she didn't say anything like, "Oh, I've been really experimenting with this for so long," or "This is really what my core kind of thing is," or what I've evolved into. Like I wanted her to say some of that stuff, and it was just like, yeah, it just seemed really great here. So
to like validate the reason why she's there. The entire time, it just you kind of got the vibe like she wandered onto the wrong set, like, and was just running with it.
God, I don't know.
I can't wait to look at it.
I agree though. Like it definitely seemed like she was on the wrong set, and I kind of made some jokes like while we were watching it because it just seemed like.
Yeah, like, and I 100% agreed with you. Like, it's like, what are you doing?
Like, she like wandered around like, wow, this is a weird All-Star season. Like,
right.
What season are all these people from? They don't look familiar at all. Mary Cherry has not specified.
Marshmallow Queen?
Yeah, Marshmallow Queen. Mary Cherry has not specified their gender so far. They're from Brooklyn, New York, considered a founder of the Brooklyn drag scene, and appeared as a guest on High Tea, a series hosted by Ms. Cracker that acted as the UK version of the pit stop for RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 1. I guess I'm almost confused about her as I am about Jade, because it just doesn't seem to be their niche, you know? And we'll talk about the floor show in a minute, but if that was any indicator, also, I don't know. I just don't get it so far in terms of this competition. I feel like I would like Mary Cherry better on Drag Race than I would here. And I don't know if I like that feeling. So
yeah, I agree with that.
No, for sure. So for me, Mary Cherry reminded me more of Silky Nutmeg Ganache.
Yes.
With a little bit of meatball, a tiny bit of meatball thrown in. I mean, a tiny bit of meatball.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. And I like that comparison.
Not meatball, a meat speck.
Exactly.
I love meatball. I love meatball. Yeah. I wish there was a little bit more meatball or a little bit more Mary Cherry. But yes, she seems heavy on the glam for sure. I totally agree with that. And I'm here for it, but I'd like to see more personality.
Saint. Formerly Saint the Creator, formerly Saint the Unholy, formerly Saint Lucia, which is their original drag name based on the American Gods character. Now just Saint. The first to compete on 2 seasons and is the winner of Resurrection. Drag sister and former partner of Aiden Zane from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12. Also interesting to note that they both actually placed 10th on their respective seasons of Dragula and Drag Race. Something they have in common.
Oh my God, I didn't realize they were partners with Aiden Zane, but oh my God, formerly, like, whoa.
Next up, somebody who I think is going to be actually one of my favorites as we go along, Sigourney Beaver, which right out the gate is the greatest drag name I've ever heard. And I love it so much. Sigourney identifies as female, is from Chicago, Illinois, is the first drag artist from Chicago on Dragula, and is the first cisgender AFAB queen on Dragula as well.
Okay, so like my first impression of Sigourney Weaver was like she was really mousy at first when she like came on. So I was like, oh, I don't know if this is really gonna go far, because I feel like on this show, I feel like if you have like a decently sized personality, it's gonna get you a lot farther, just because you get so much flack from the other contestants on the show. It just seems to be so much more brutal than like drag races, because they seem to have a little more, not professionalism, but candor with each other.
Yeah.
But then, oh my God, when I saw her floor show, I was like, damn, this is a competitor. Like this person knows how to perform and bring her characters to life. And like, I'll talk more about it when we talk about the floor show, but like, she is definitely one of my favorites so far. Like, so impressed and like entranced by this competitor. Like, oh my gosh, really excited.
I would totally have to agree. Her entrance look, I was like, oh my God, that cinch. Oh my God, that waist. Oh my God, that look, that hair, the jewelry, everything, the whole look. I was, oh my God.
La Zavaleta. I feel like I didn't say that right. Whatever. No, not much is known about this competitor, to be honest, like across the board. Researched all over the place. Didn't find much that was really noteworthy. I was tired of this person as soon as they walked through the door.
Yeah, this is my least favorite competitor.
Yeah.
On multiple levels. Attitude, look, they're exhausting.
So that's all of our competitors. And for their first challenge this season, the competitors were tasked with taking horror icons and reimagining their looks from the ground up. For me, right out the gate, I loved Astrid's, the xenomorph. I really liked a lot. I really liked Sigourney's. And of course, I really liked Hoso Teratoma's. I also really liked Saint's.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Hoso, Astrid, and Sigourney's were my favorite, my top three as well. Saint was, I just wrote all right. Like, it didn't like wow me. I definitely got what she was doing or what they were doing. And it was cool, but it wasn't at the same level of the other three for me. And I definitely had some that I wrote definitely looked like they walked out of Spirit Halloween. And I was thoroughly not impressed.
Okay, so I get that everybody was all over Astrid, and like for me, I was like, I mean, it's okay. Like, it was good. The performance was good. It just wasn't like my favorite. Like, honestly, Hoso Teratoma and Sigourney Beaver were my favorites. Like, whether I understood the source material or not, it was just the most amazing performance, the most amazing silhouette, the most amazing, like, make it your own, let me see, personality, like all of it. It was fantastic. And I also liked Coco's. I didn't necessarily see Morticia Adams, but it was just, I don't know. I just thought it was stunning.
Yeah. I was a little nervous that they were going to have Coco win based on that look. And I just feel like for me, like she looked great, but for me personally, if I hadn't been handed a sheet of paper with everybody's icons they were redoing before they came out, I wouldn't necessarily know she's Morticia. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Right.
I totally agree.
Part of the challenge when they were given it was, we don't want cosplay, but we want to know immediately when you walk out who you are. And a big problem they had with like Formaldehyde, for example, was that they didn't know who the hell she was trying to be. And not that they didn't like the look, they just didn't know who it was supposed to be. And I felt like that was the same critique for Coco Kane, but they loved it. And I just didn't really understand how that worked. So I guess for me, I put them kind of in the same category.
Well, I think one of the things they had said too, and I kind of agreed with this, because I really liked Formaldehyde's look. I thought it was really cool. But like, it just wasn't, like, if you put those two next to each other, like, hers just wasn't big enough. Like, Coco Kane's was a huge look. Like, she was a presence on the stage, and Formaldehyde just kind of, it's like we had said, she like focused so much on that, like on her mask look, and then everything else was kind of like accessory to that. Whereas Coco Kane's was like, her whole look was a finished package.
That's fair.
And they said that like, you can't, like, you need to be, this look isn't bad, but you need to be bigger. It needs to be bigger than just your gimmick, your shtick. That's and fair. I think that's where she really fell short, because otherwise I thought that was a cool look. I didn't get Jigsaw either, but I thought it was a cool look.
Okay. But yes, Astrid does win the challenge. Love that. Our bottom two are Laza Valletta and Formaldehyde, both up for extermination and had to face a challenge referencing the very first episode of Dragula ever, being buried alive. Both of them handled it very poorly. I half expected them both to be destroyed immediately. And I was kind of surprised on who they actually saved, because in fact, as we get via a music video extermination to the Boulets' new single, Time to Die, Formaldehyde becomes the first competitor to be exterminated and out of the competition. Do you guys agree?
No.
I didn't either.
I did not agree.
I agree. I don't think Formaldehyde was quite ready, but I don't think that Laza Valletta will be long in the Dragula universe on this season.
Moving right along, it's time for top tweets. Let's get into some news and hot tea, everybody. So right out the gate, let's talk about it a little more. The Boulay brothers released their first ever single, Time to Die. The song is okay to me. It's like, whatever. It's not terrible. Bobby's had it stuck in his head for days, so it's working. It's interesting to see them kind of, I don't want to say like RuPaul themselves, but as they get more popular and a little more mainstream, some of this stuff I think is creeping in, where they're trying to like diversify their income and stuff. Yeah, I know. Like they're trying to, you know,
hashtag Dragula.
They're trying to mix it up. I respect that. The working it into the extermination feels a little cheap to me. I don't know. But you know, good for them. They're doing a lot of good stuff, and I like the Boulets a lot, so whatever. The Dragula premiere is praised by Shudder and audiences alike. Dragula Resurrection, though, was their biggest premiere last year, and gained them, I think, the most subscribers, so that was a huge win already right out the gate. The final numbers for the premiere of Dragula are not in yet, but it's anticipated also to be a similar situation, if not bigger than Dragula Resurrection. And there were viewing parties all over the world for this premiere, and so it's definitely gaining in popularity. And I think Shudder is really smart for jumping in on it, when they had the chance, because I think a lot of people were passing on Dragula when they were trying to shop around and find a permanent place for it, especially as it became more and more expensive to produce. So I think it's very smart of Shudder to jump on this, and I think it's going to be very good for Shudder, especially as they're striving to create more original content to draw people in. This isn't news, but I did want to talk about the reconnaissance I did during the hiatus.
The field work.
Yeah, exactly. I am the highlights field correspondent. I bumped into Carson Kressley over the hiatus, and we went out and met the Boulets at their signing and at the Grove here in LA. So I'm diving in deep, if you will. It's exciting to kind of do that stuff and bring it back to something like this, like the show and with you guys. And I know I've talked to you guys separately, but the Boulets obviously have their annual Halloween party and things like that. And I really want to be able to take us all there, either next year or the year after. And
I'll start planning my look.
Yeah. The Boulets are super nice in person.
Already planning my look?
Yes. It's finally time for the scoreboard. As always, these are the competitors we started with, and here's who we have left. For our extermination order so far, of course, Formaldehyde, may she rest in peace, is now in that 10th spot. And for this upcoming week, we will be seeing who gets exterminated and placed in the 9th place spot as we begin our long journey to our next super monster.
I really like Astrid, but I really think that Sigourney and Hoso have kind of been slightly more character and artistry in their drag.
All right, so my prediction for the top 3 is Sigourney Beaver, Astrid Aurelia, and Hoso Teratoma. But so my favorite is Hoso Teratoma for sure, just in case I hadn't said that before, like 14 times.
Wait, who is it? One more time?
My favorite is Hoso Teratoma.
Okay, I hadn't heard it before yet, so I just wanted to make sure that I got that.
So now that we've established Charisse wants Jade to win. Okay, so queens who have been up for extermination. There was only 2 in the extermination this week. And Formaldehyde went home, obviously, so we only have Laza Valletta, who's actually been up for extermination 1 time. And in terms of top stats for challenge wins, Astrid Aurelia won this challenge and therefore is automatically in the lead, with winning so far being $1,000 in shoes from fiercequeen.com.
That's fiercequeen.com.
This week's episode, the Boulets did tweet a little tease of them in a black and white photo on the beach. So I'm assuming that's going to be their opening. But that's pretty much it. That's the first episode and the premiere of season 4 of Dragula. I'm pretty excited for the season, though. This is already the best they've ever produced, and I'm really excited for it, actually.
I'm so excited to be doing highlights again. As I hit my mic.
I'm so excited. Flips the desk.
The whole desk, like
the entire room, just like.
I know.
Oh God.
I agree,
my gosh.
though. It's nice to see everybody and to have this time with you.
So with that being said, everybody's all caught up this week on Dragula. So as always,
thank you for watching highlights.
And we'll see you next time.